The original OG with Dr. Cheryl Dossett is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.
Greetings, my name is Cheryl Dawson and this is My Truth. I come to you today to share my vision for creating a new initiative which embraces the unique talents, strengths, and abilities of a segment of the population which is often overlooked. What I'm referring to are members of the African American or Black community in China. China is a vast land that presents vast opportunities for big thinkers. And as an African American female and a big thinker, I embrace the unknown. I look at China as an opportunity to leverage my talents and abilities because there's enough here in terms of resources to help you create a new life for yourself. Greetings and welcome. My name is Dr. Dossett, and this is another segment of the original OGs, Overseas Game Changers talk show. You know, each week that I bring guests, we learn something new, not only about their profession or vocation, but the reasons why living abroad has been appealing. Now, this week is a little different because we have a young lady who lives actually in Canada. So for me, that's overseas from the US. And she is telling her story, not only as an author, but as a neurodiverse learning coach. You're going to learn a little bit about who she is, where she is, and what is neurodiverse. Why is this such an important work for her, this body of work, which has developed from the beginning of her birth? So without further ado, let's learn a little bit more about Natasha Copeland. Greetings and welcome. This is Friday morning for the original OG show. Do you have a disability? I'm not looking at you, but have you been classified as having a disability, if you don't mind?
Yes, I don't mind. I live with autism and PTSD, and also ADHD, and also high anxiety.
So can you now I've heard the term autism. Been an educated 20 years, but I really don't understand it. I know it's a world where people feel like they're isolated, they're in their own kind of a bubble, and no offense. I understand PTSD, which comes from trauma. I understand that. I understand learning disabilities. I understand that. But there are those people who are watching, they just have no disconnect because what they see from my vantage point is a beautiful young lady, very articulate. And we want to learn more about what is autism, if you don't mind, and what are some strategies for yourself? You've gone to college. So how have you been able to go to college? You have actually defied the norm. I want to know more about that.
I feel like I defied the norm because I was supposed to be the person stepping between, like taking like being the shield for people who are like myself.
But what is
Being-
can you describe what is autism to me, dear?
it's just a different way of learning, a different way of expressing yourself. It could be slower, it could be faster, on any given day. And some people, they don't speak. For me, I tend to be younger than tend to react and behave in younger than my actual age. So it makes the perception of others somewhat condescending at times, or by a bias at times. I tend to like youthful things, and so that is not something that's perceived as
So wait a minute. Is that a bad thing to do youthful things? You know how many people want to do youthful things? So how is that a blemish on your life? How is that a blemish during you? Can you give us some examples, please?
Like most of the time I would be called, like, they categorize someone such as me as a dumb blonde, and that's like the
Wow.
category that some people see me in. So
Well,
it's
I'm sure you don't see yourself like that because you're a beautiful Black woman.
yeah,
So I don't understand this construct of a dumb blonde. How
yeah.
have you been able to manage that? How have you been able to fight? Because of your level of intellectual prowess. You see, I'm an educator. Talking to you, I'm talking to a woman who is accomplished. Those constructs that other people have given you, I'm sorry, I just don't see what they see. So there are many people like me that are non-judgmental.
Mhm.
I see that you're moving around. I'm just trying to look at what you're doing. Maz, are you sitting on something now?
I was sitting on my chair, but I'm gonna go on my ball because again, I'm so happy to be here that I'm going mute, and I shouldn't, because I need to also articulate what you're asking me. So like I have dyscalculia, so sometimes when I go to the mall, I'd have to ask my children about the change. I'd have to ask my children about what these people are trying to say in order to gain access to my brain and find out, oh, that's what they're asking. Why don't they just write it down on the sign? Or for instance, I had a hard time navigating motherhood because I was perceived as, oh, she's just what not really understanding anything. And then I decided in my head that um, not being me is not something that I should be ashamed of.
How have you been? So now you said you're a mother. How many children do you have?
I would have had 9, but I have 2.
Wow.
I
So
have
how go get you're gonna get your ball? You need it. That's for balancing anxiety or for your back?
no, it's just for balancing my sillies.
Okay.
Yeah, if sometimes if I get kind of overwhelmed, like I could get overwhelmed a lot. I need certain things to kind of calm me down or kind of bring me into a center space because my brain doesn't know how to do certain things. Though I think the only reason why I'm a person that understands more and finds I found how to maneuver myself through the world, through movies, through books, through church, through get-togethers, through camping. Like being in community and building connection is how I was able to mask, and we call it like kind of masking and kind of blending in so then you can be accepted, because I never really was. And when I was accepted, it was in the wrong spaces.
Mhm.
So I decided to find uh, a way to combat that through knowledge. I actually went all the way to university. I want to get my master's and my a PhD, but I had to stop. I had to stop being in those spaces because I was being um, treated in not so great ways. Marking group work, um, just the notion of, yeah, she's fine, she doesn't need anything. Getting my tutors, I had to consistently be in survival mode and fight mode. And so I this wasn't me. It was taking away from everything that I was. I felt like I was being muted. I felt like I was being silenced. And so I just I found a lot of ways to build upon my my foundation of where I came from. Like my parents had always wanted me to know how to read, and even though it was a struggle, even though it was difficult, and they got upset a lot of the times because they didn't know what was quote unquote wrong with me, I still did it.
I think that number one, God has blessed you. God has touched you in the fact that you have a fighting spirit. It is naturally, it is intuitive. Like you said, you've always been in survivor mode. I think just to be a Black woman, we all must be in survivor mode.
Yeah.
But when you have it compounded by a genetic or neural challenge, I'm not going to call it a deficit or disability or challenge, I can only imagine the greater difficulty to be included. For
Mm-hmm.
myself, I
Mm-hmm.
know that I am an empowering Black woman, but I've been challenged throughout my entire life
Mm-hmm.
because I have a sun condition, PMLE, and I'm allergic to the sun, and it makes me sometimes feel embarrassed, small, and ashamed
Mm-hmm.
that I am different.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at me now, you can't tell. So some challenges you can't really see, readily see.
Mm-hmm.
But it also caused me to suffer with depression, ongoing depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety for the fear of being exposed to the sun and then being burned with whelps. So I can connect on a certain level,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find a space to be accepted. And that's where I found my solace. My solace was living overseas because no one knew me. And in Asian countries, I would carry an umbrella. So I felt that I had this adoptive community because Asians used umbrellas as well. But getting back to you, so I do have some sensitivity of what it's like not to feel accepted. And I understand the pain that comes with it. So I would like to be very candid. The PTSD, is
Mm-hmm.
that a result of having autism, or is it an extension of, and I don't want you to get too personal if it's too painful, or is that an extension of trauma?
Yeah, it's extensions of trauma and bits of I realized if I for 5 years now what it was, they call them microaggressions.
Yeah.
consistent consistent non-ceasing aggressions that from they don't the people who are perpetuating these notions have no clue as to what you actually went through in the past, and they do see this doll, this lovely doll sitting here, and she's fine. What? And then so in my years of growing, um I learned how to love that feeling. And that's not something that's good. Loving that feeling, consistently being around those same people who are perpetuating that feeling. And I realized again, the light was going down, 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 down. And I decided in my soul, I'm not going to give up. And I decided in my soul that even though all these people don't see me, I'm going to make sure I remember who my real father is.
Now talk about this don't see, because my God, I know that feeling of not being seen.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first get a reaction from the sun and my skin looks like a burnt marshmallow,
Mm-hmm.
no one wants to look at me. They would hold their head down. In fact, I punished myself. I had the mirrors always turned the opposite direction in my house because I couldn't take it. But what I really couldn't take was people asking me, not how was I doing, how was your face? It became as if my face was a separate part of my body, that they did not care about me. So I can kind of connect with you because of microaggressions, because I've had to endure microaggressions,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and how were you able to, like you said, because people didn't see you. So what did you do to help yourself come alive? Because you talked about, you know, who your real father is. And I'm sure that's spiritual. Those are, you know, but
Mhm.
what did you do to make that reconnection between your soul and yourself?
I to be honest, I really resonate with what you were saying. I started looking in the mirror,
See,
and
you looked in,
I never
you
looked in
looked
the
in
mirror.
there.
I
At
never looked
what
in.
age were you? I mean, so not at what age. I don't want everybody to know your age.
That's okay.
At what point did you start looking in the mirror? I mean, what was the breaking point or the
Um,
or the epiphany you received to start looking in the mirror?
yeah. It was when my youngest brother passed away.
Oh,
He was different. He was he was special. He was beautiful inside. We cursed and fought with each other every now and then, but we still loved each other in those ways. But because of who he was, or because of how he was, this made it difficult for him to navigate life. And because he didn't have his father consistently in his life, because he felt too different, he is no longer here. And that was the catalyst for my awakening, my reckoning, my start to setting boundaries, my start to, I just show this book here, talk about this book here, A Liberated Mind, How to Pivot Towards What Matters, by Stephen C. Haynes, PhD.
but I want to know about your book.
Yeah. Oh, and also, um it's hard to talk about because I'm supposed to be celebrating it, but because of my differences, I had people claiming portions of the book as theirs. So I decided to just take it offline and introspect some more. So this is between 2017 and 2019. And I introspected some, and I kept getting taps on my shoulders, taps in my brains, pushing spiritual nudges like, what the heck are you doing with your life? And so when I decided to actually listen, I went quiet and said, Lord, can you please tell me what it is I'm saying to others? What it is others are saying to me. Make me wise. Make my hearing and my heart and my eyes and my ears and my nose and my mouth understand what you're trying to do for me and how you want me to move. And so I listened, I was quiet, I set boundaries, I lost a lot of people, but in the process, I have Exceptionally You, which is a children's book about diversity and inclusion and just being you, and knowing that regardless of who you are, you can only be you. That's all you can do.
My God, my God. You know, do you have the book with you? Can you share? Can you read some of the excerpts from it or no?
Can I run upstairs?
No.
Yeah,
We'll bring you, because of sake of time, we're going to bring you back a second time so you can
yeah,
actually go through your book.
yeah,
I didn't mean to say no disrespectfully. What I am sitting here thinking, I'm getting ready to get a ball to bounce
yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah,
because what I'm sitting here thinking is, this is a person that has been misjudged, prejudiced, and miscategorized all her life.
yeah,
But people who had no idea that those microaggressions actually pivoted you to where you can be bold today
yeah,
and be the voice of the muted. And
yeah.
I'm hoping that I did not make you feel intimidated or
No,
uncomfortable,
no,
because I love you. I adore you. When we
I love
first
you too.
connected on a Clubhouse,
Yep,
my heart was beating. I was like, "Oh my God, I got to be able to work with her. I
yeah,
want to be able to do something, because you are perhaps one of the most authentic women that I have met in a long time." And I
yeah,
meet a lot of people,
Yeah.
even your ability to articulate what is going on with you. Sometimes I forget words because I suffered a stroke about 20 years ago. So I'm only functioning at about 70%. And I said to myself, dang, I can imagine what I was doing when I was 100%. So because of the stroke, I do have some difficulty sometimes with memory. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I feel locked in, but I push through the same way that you are pushing through. So though you may have thought we are different,
Mm-hmm.
we have actually more in
Yeah.
common than not. And
Yeah.
that might be surprising to you because when you first met me and read my bio, you're like, oh my God, she's heavy duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only through Christ,
Yeah.
not on my own accord, by giving me another chance at life. And I know God is giving you another chance, connecting you with good people.
Mm-hmm. I need that.
For those who don't understand, this young woman is about to be, this young lady is about to be a speaker. She is going to be, I'm going to speak and decree, you're going to be a sought after speaker to
Mm-hmm.
bring awareness in this marketplace of neurodiverse learners.
Mm-hmm.
Because this group, people who suffer with autism, do not get a chance to be on the stage, do not get a
No.
chance to be able to share their story. It
No.
doesn't matter what you look like. And I know people judge you and you're enthusiastic. And I understand with your little cute little yellow bow and your little yellow blouse and your little
Mm-hmm.
green skirt.
And the skirt.
Listen, you look beautiful. And I see that the confidence is coming. And I'm excited for what God is getting ready to do to you and through you. You have been long overdue. I'm
Yeah.
also one of those people that have been long overdue. So I know things are happening for a reason. I know that our connection is not by accident.
No.
Never in my life has God ever made accidents in connecting me to people
No.
because what he wants to do to you, he's going to do through you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to be there along your side as you are developing as a speaker,
Mm-hmm.
taking the legal authority to get your books out. I know
Mm-hmm.
you want to write another book.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to be by your side. I'm telling you, I feel like I've adopted you. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
writing a series of talks called
Mm-hmm.
the clipped wing. And when a bird has a clipped wing, they think that the bird cannot reach their height because the wing is being clipped and it affects their mobility and their ascension. But I'm here to tell you, you have a clipped wing. I have a clipped wing, but God takes those that have a clipped wing and restores us and enables us to soar. So I'm
Absolutely.
excited. Tell us about, before we leave today, because time goes so quickly, tell us about the name of your book once again,
Oh
and
yeah.
what is your other book about?
The name of my book is called Exceptionally You.
Hmm.
And it's like more of a poem. And the premise is um be exceptionally you every
Hmm.
day of the week. No matter what you no matter what you do, be you. And then the last point is you can only be you. That's all you can do. So it's more about the celebration and the knowing of you cannot be without your own mask. You have to have your mask first, which is loving yourself, being cautious of what you hear, what you say, what you read, what you listen to, and so forth, and just knowing that and having value and expressing your value towards the world for a greater purpose. So my other book that's going to be coming out, it's going to be in a literary magazine. The magazine is called Cloud Lake Literary, and the book is called My Papa is Important. And it has the notion of all fathers, not just one type of father. And at the back of the book, it will have many different ways to say father. Because when I was working as a preschool readiness instructor for 20 years, a lot of the people that I had in my corner, again, were people who were international students or parents that are coming here to work and they have to have their children stay and live in this country. And I learned so much, and I learned how much people outside of the quote unquote normality of this world are the most genuine and the most loving. So I would love to be a part of anything that you're doing. I'd love to be a part of um, the notions that you are speaking about, and especially mental health within these realms, because being neurodiverse or not having the ability to be in the sun, it to me, from your heart and from my heart, they were so similar to me. The way in which you were treated and you articulate yourself, was so similar. How can someone with who has had a stroke uh, feel so connected, and so someone can understand that from someone like yourself and someone like myself, and it being so similar, there must be things that we can do together to make real change.
Amen. Oh, yes. Wow. I know my heart is full. I just thank God for you because I know things, there's no accident. I don't care how unattractive I look crying because you speak into my heart. And the best work for me is work that is heartfelt, that is mission driven,
Mhm,
and bringing awareness, especially in the education field as an educator,
mhm,
to a segment of the population that is overlooked,
mhm,
that is muted, that is muffled, and that is shuffled. I
mhm,
resonate and I connect with that. I know that this is the beginning of something. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to move and fall into the flow of it and trust the divine that He will direct our paths
mhm,
and that He will elevate you in the ESL market,
mhm,
working with students who have difficulties with learning the second language. You understand the pace and the tone of speaking. I know that you will be an asset in that field.
mhm,
We can delve more deeply into understanding, what is autism again,
mhm,
and how we can help others. There are families out there that they
mhm,
might not even have the wherewithal or the understanding of resources. I want to talk about what resources are available and how we can help get these resources. You will
mhm,
be the catalyst for the change. You'll be the go-to person. So for
mhm,
parents, if you're listening, if you know that you have a child and you don't understand what's going on with them, I'm going to direct you to Coach Natasha so you can reach out to her. I just want to say peace and blessings. Thank you. You are incredible. Even with a clipped wing, you can still fly. Love you now. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
The original OG with Dr. Cheryl Dawson is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.